Hey there, what's going on? It's Lisa here, Happy Foods. Hope you're doing well. I am getting ready for dinner here, and I thought I'd make a really tasty red wine marinara sauce. As you know, for my grocery haul, I picked up some really large cans of tomatoes from Costco. And so this whole week, I'm basically going to be making dishes so that I can use those tomatoes and put them aside for other future meals too, so I can put them in the freezer. And I apologize if it's a lot of ruckus going on. The kids are playing in the room next door, so hopefully you don't hear too much of that. Hey girls, try to keep it down just a touch. Let's see if that works. Anyways, so red wine marinara. What makes this special is a little bit of red wine. And what I do is I never really buy wine to put in the marinara, but a lot of times I we'll have people over for dinner, and they ask what you can bring, and a lot of times I just say, well, why don't you just bring over a bottle of wine? And usually they bring over 2 bottles of wine. We go through maybe one, open up the other one, and there's something left. And sometimes that'll get used up, but a lot of times it'll sit on the counter for a couple of days open, and then you're thinking, I don't really want to drink it because it's a couple of days old, but you hate to throw it away, and you just don't know what to do with it. So what I do is whenever I have any wine left over, I freeze it. Sometimes it's just a small amount, sometimes it's half a bottle. And I usually, when I buy wine, I don't really spend more than $10 for a bottle. But, so this was, I don't even know when someone came over, we had wine, and it was left over, so I just put it in the freezer. So this adds a nice body to a sauce. It really, really does. You don't taste any of the alcohol. You actually don't really taste so much of the wine. It's just the flavor that embarks in when the tomato sauce cooks down. It makes it really special. You can tell there's something different about it. You can't put your finger on it, but it just tastes rich and it tastes very flavorful, and it's great for deglazing. And you can also use it if you're making like a vegetable stew or anything really tomato based. You could use this to deglaze some wine. So I've got the pan's nice and hot. This is a Le Creuset pot that I use. I have one pot. If you're gonna, I try to minimalize in the kitchen, and if you're gonna have one pot, just get a bigger pot, I recommend. That way you can do everything in it. If you have something, a small pot, then obviously when you do batch cooking like this, you can't, you need something bigger. So what's going in here? Standard tomato sauce, okay? I've got about 2 cups of chopped onion. And I went a little crazy with the garlic. I've got about probably 8 large cloves of garlic in here. But you want fresh garlic. Do not use chopped up garlic that comes in a jar already ready to go. It has no flavor. No flavor at all. Get the real stuff. And yeah, so this was like a half a bulb of garlic. So like 8 large cloves of garlic I did, and 2 cups of onion. I'm going to throw in probably about a cup and a half of red wine I'm going to deglaze with. I've got 8 cups of tomato sauce and diced tomatoes. It's half and half. I just mixed it together. So I've got 4 cups of diced tomatoes and 4 cups of tomato sauce. And then just some good old Italian seasoning and probably some salt and pepper. And that's it. Very, very simple. I like to keep things very simple because, to me, less is more. Just use good quality ingredients and put love into your food. You put love into your food, it comes out great every time. So I'm actually going to saute the onions and the garlic in some olive oil. I don't usually use a lot of oil when I'm cooking, but there is a difference when you saute something in oil, like the onions and the garlic, versus water. And also, I want the flavor of the olive oil, too. I just think it has a nice flavor. So I've got my pan on medium. It's been sitting here for a bit while I was getting things ready, so it's nice and hot. And so I've got the onions in there. I'd probably put in maybe a tablespoon or 2 of oil. It doesn't come out very fast in this. Isn't that cool? I got that in Barcelona, Spain. I went there last year. Let's see if I can get the camera. I'll lift it up. I gotta get a new little stand. This one's falling apart on me. So basically just sauteing up the onions here. Medium heat. Just want to kind of get them going. The sauce is going to cook for a little bit. I like to cook the sauce kind of low and slow. Let the tomato juice kind of concentrate and break down. And, everything just gets real happy together. So now I'm going to add in the garlic and just kind of cook that real briefly. This is all very simple stuff. Basic cooking here. But you can't go wrong with a nice homemade tomato sauce. You can use that for the base for so much stuff. I probably should have pulled these red wine out earlier, but they don't freeze 100%, so be careful when you're freezing it that you make sure that your bag is sealed up good. Alright, so I'm putting in the red wine to kind of deglaze, and I'll just let that cook for a minute. Okay. And of course, you could do, it's a great for date night meal. You don't have to make such a big batch, but you could, you know, get some wine for dinner and just throw in a little splash when you're heating up your tomato sauce and make a nice, beautiful pasta, and then just drink it for dinner. So I just added the red wine, and I'm just going to let that kind of get heated up, boil down just a touch, reduce before I add the tomatoes in. Like I said, all the alcohol cooks out, and you're just left with just a really nice, rich flavor. So let me let this cook down for a minute or two, and then I'll come right back at you when I add the other stuff. Alright guys, so this has been cooking for about maybe 5 minutes or so on kind of a medium-high heat, just so I wanted to reduce down this wine by about half. It's going to continue to reduce down as the sauce cooks, but just to really get that flavor kind of reduced, you just want to kind of cook it before you add the tomatoes and everything. So that's what it's looking like. So I still got some red wine in here, but it's reduced by half. And now I'm going to add in all my tomatoes. Okay. That cooled it down real fast. Just had a boil, and all of a sudden I add the cold sauce, and it's like, bloop. And I'll put a little water in there to shake out that bit, but okay, so just stir the onions and the red wine onions and garlic with the tomatoes. So you got some sauce, you got some chunks of tomatoes. I like that. I like the mix. I like a little texture. Alright, so I'm going to let this get up to a nice simmer, and then I'm going to turn the heat down, and I'm going to let this cook covered, but with the lid kind of slightly open, so some steam can get out, so it can keep on reducing down. And I'm probably going to let this baby cook for about an hour, honestly. It's 4:30, and we eat around 5:30, so I'm going to put in, I got the Italian seasoning. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of dried Italian herbs, and that'll just rehydrate in there and give it a nice flavor. And yeah, so this is where we're at right now. So I'm gonna let this come up to us, like I said, nice simmer. Not boiling. Otherwise the tomatoes just gonna splat all over the place, make a mess in your kitchen. And then I'm gonna turn it down, leave it slightly covered, and put it on low, and I'm gonna check on it and get back with you in an hour, because I think that's gonna be perfect. And I just want to show you this too. Just in the camera here. I've got some, I'm going to start mine over some zucchini noodles. So I prepped this ahead of time. You can totally do it ahead of time. I layer it in between paper towels. So I've got a nice big bowl of raw zucchini noodles. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later on. But I'm going to do that instead of actual pasta. Keep it nice and healthy, nice and light. It's gonna be good. All right, I'll catch you real soon. Just want to show you, see the sauce is at a perfect little temperature. And now I just put it on low, and I am covering it just like this. So, voila. Cook, baby, now. All right, 1 hour has passed, and the sauce is perfect. It's thickened up and reduced just a little bit. It's got some nice texture and body to it. Deep red color. Look at that from the red wine. And the flavor is spot on. As you notice, I didn't add any salt to this, and it doesn't need any salt. Check your tomatoes and make sure that the sodium content before you start seasoning it away, because when this reduces down, it's going to intensify even more. So to me, I'm not going to add any salt. It's plenty salty naturally from the tomatoes and everything. And I just wanted to mention too, if you like a little spice, some red chili flakes would be nice to add when you're sauteing the onions to kind of bring that out. I actually forgot, but I'm going to top it with my pasta with a little sriracha. But some chili flakes would be nice. And also too, totally optional, we kind of like a tiny bit of a sweeter tomato sauce. So I'm just going to sprinkle in just a little bit of sugar. Like I'm talking about maybe a tablespoon of sugar. But totally optional, doesn't have to have it. We just like a little bit of sweetness, so that's just melt in there. And I've got my zucchini noodles here, nice bowl of that. I just let it kind of come to room temperature, just let it sit on the counter. Been sitting on the counter for about an hour. And so they're not ice cold. And this sauce is piping hot. So I'm going to ladle this nice hot sauce right over these zucchini noodles. Look at that. That look great. A little bit more. Yummy. And of course, totally optional, but I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese right on top because I like a little Parmesan cheese, but you can actually make a raw vegan Parmesan cheese by taking some like raw cashews and some nutritional yeast and a little garlic and salt, and that'll make like a raw Parmesan if you put it in the food processor. There we go. So I'm going to plate these up. I'm going to let this sauce cool so I can portion it up for the freezer and use this for many different uses. And I'll show you in a second at the table, do a little taste test. Alright, just me downstairs because there's a lot of homework going on. So I just came down here so I could do a little taste test for y'all. Look at that, the zucchini noodles. I love zucchini noodles. I tell you, with the sauce on it, you can't even tell that you're eating a vegetable. It tastes just like you're eating pasta. Really, really good. So let's have a little taste here. It's going to be really hot. Alright, sometimes I'll mix it like a little regular pasta with some zucchini noodles. I threw some sriracha on there. Hopefully I didn't get a huge bite of sriracha. That is so good. That sauce, I'm telling you, the red wine is the secret ingredient. That and lots of fresh garlic. You'll be able to tell a difference. And you know, if you're planning on buying a bottle of wine and having it for dinner, just put a little splash in there. But if not, just next time you have someone over and they ask what they can bring, just say, hey, why don't you just bring a bottle of wine? And if there's any left over, just put it in the freezer. And you can add this to some jarred marinara too, and just really make it something special. Yummy. I'm going to finish this up, let it cool, the rest of the sauce cool, and then I'll show you what I got left to put in my freezer. I'll have a nice little stash by the end of the week, so that's going to be cool. Alright, and here's what's left. I've got 3 containers. They're about 2 cups each, so I've got 6 cups worth of tomato sauce, and so come in really, really handy for all kinds of stuff. So this is going to go in the freezer, and yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be doing something different. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I plan out stuff for the week, but then I usually change my mind. I'm in the mood for something else, so not quite sure what it'll be, but it's going to be something really good. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel so you can get updates whenever I do a new video. And if you like videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And yeah, that's it. Remember to always eat happy food. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And much love. I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.